Hello, happy Monday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, the Virgin Islands Department of Health is warning residents of a spreading eye infection that's affected quite a number of residents in the territory. And while this infection might seem relatively harmless, the irritating symptoms can persist for weeks. News 2's April Knight has more from the Department of Health.
What seems to be a regular eye infection being passed around is turning out to be an actual health menace. Late last week, the VI Department of Health issued a health alert on epidemic keratoconjunctivitis, or EKC. According to the health department, they recently received reports of possible EKC cases.
30 patients have been diagnosed with a probable case of epidemic keratoconjunctivitis, and we are waiting for lab results to confirm the diagnosis of these patients.
The incubation period is 1 week, during which symptoms do not yet appear, but once they do, they're pretty noticeable.
And the symptoms of EKC can occur in one or both eyes and may include a feeling that something is in your eye, redness, irritation, and itchiness of the eye, clear or yellow drainage that may make the eyelids stick together, blurred vision, and eye pain.
Now, this is definitely not your regular pink eye. EKC is an acute, highly contagious viral infection, and the symptoms can last up to 2 weeks.
It can also cause corneal scarring. Because of the contagious nature of EKC, kids are urged to stay home if they are infected to avoid the spread. Other precautionary measures include avoiding touching the eyes, washing hands regularly, not sharing items that touch the eyes like makeup and towels, and avoiding close face-to-face contact during an outbreak.
If you're using contact lenses and you do have symptoms, remove the contact lenses until your symptoms have cleared.
Health officials urge residents not to take the EKC outbreak lightly.
There's no treatment, and so the best treatment is prevention.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Again, the lab tests for the reported cases are still pending. According to the Department of Health, they'll have updates on the results and the number of cases in the next few days. Interscholastic sports that were suspended last week resumed today. That's according to the Department of Education, after concerns over the suspension of a couple of sporting events because of issues with insurance for student athletes. Volleyball and cross country seem to be the only events affected. As the sporting events resumed today, Education Commissioner Sharon McCollum did stress in a prior statement that all students are required to show proof of insurance, or if they don't already have one, the department requires insurance through the PGU Insurance Services for St. Thomas St. John and Atlantic Southern for St. Croix. St. Croix police are investigating 2 fatal auto accidents. On October 16, around 6:20 p.m., officers were dispatched to an auto accident. Preliminary investigation revealed that an 88-year-old female on St. Croix traveling eastbound made a right turn to enter onto Hope Road when she impacted a traveling vehicle carrying 5 individuals, including the driver. All 5 passengers suffered injuries and were treated at the Louis Hospital. The 88-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. Here's details on another auto accident.
At 8:02 p.m. the same evening, October 16th, the traffic division was also dispatched to the North Side Road in the vicinity of the In-N-Out service station in Estate Glen. Preliminary investigation revealed that a male driver was traveling southbound on the North Shore Road. As he reached the Midland Road intersection, another vehicle cut across the northbound lane and collided into the vehicle. The 34-year-old driver was pronounced dead on the scene by the emergency medical staff and was transported to the morgue by the morgue attendant. The 4 passengers, including the driver of the other vehicle, were transported to the Wang F. Louis Hospital to be treated for their injuries. Both accidents are still under investigation.
On Saturday, October 15th, police say at approximately 3:50 a.m., 27-year-old Leonard Monsanto was arrested and charged with third-degree assault after he was witnessed drawing a firearm from his waist and pointing it at several individuals in the parking lot of Crush nightclub. Bail for Monsanto was set at $25,000. Saturday, October 15th, a male victim was being treated at the hospital for a gunshot wound that entered the back of his left upper arm and exited his chest area. The male stated that as he was walking in the area of Paul and Pearson Garden housing community, an unknown individual fired shots, about 4 to 5 shots in his direction. Police continue to investigate. Please call them if you can assist in any of the investigations. Well, as you drove around St. Thomas today, you might have spotted a white government truck with a strange-looking contraption strapped to the flatbed. That's one of the very cool projects embarked upon by the GIS employees at the Lieutenant Governor's office in collaboration with a St. Croix business owner. Their goal is to put the entire Virgin Islands on Google Street View. NEWS2's April Knight has more.
When Kirk Thompson bought into the Blue Scuba on St. Croix a few years ago, he immediately realized the territory had a glaring need.
We found that Google could not identify our location on the map, and we couldn't get it corrected because our address system is in a little bit of need right here.
And he knew something had to be done. The former intelligence analyst called up his friends at Google and managed to secure the use of a Google Street View camera.
It's rather unique because it's the first time that a person outside of a Google employee or a government employee has ever had access to the camera.
The sophisticated Google camera is mounted on this truck and is actually many cameras and transponders rolled into one complicated equipment.
15 cameras that burst every half second or so, has 2 GPS transponders. Each one of the frames of the camera overlays on the other one to give a virtual 360-degree bubble.
Almost all of the United States is already on Google Street View. The inclusion of the Virgin Islands is expected to help the VI catch up and bolster tourism in the territory.
Individuals out of the territory, in foreign countries and in the United States that wish to visit the VI, they can then get a first-hand look of identifying exactly where they want to go.
Although not yet live, St. Croix's Street View imaging is practically complete. Now Thompson is working his way through St. Thomas and St. John.
Over the long term, tide rises all ships together, and as long as we can have a better map system, give a virtual tour of our territory, this will hopefully improve our economy, not only through tourism, but also through investment and through safety.
Reporting for NEWS2, I'm April Knight.
And according to the Lieutenant Governor's office, the St. Thomas-St. John phase of the Street View project would not have been possible without the island's administrators, Murren Potter and Camille Paris. In other news, the Haiti relief effort for the community organizations, including Kappa, Smith Bay, East End Rotary, Sleepy's Trucking, and the churches, continued this past weekend. They have now moved from Tutu Park to a new location in Smith Bay, right there. Several other community organizations throughout the territory have mobilized to conduct hurricane relief drives for Haiti. They say the most critical and immediate supplies needed for Haiti are roofing and clean water. Now, Rotary District 720, they're accepting monetary donations. You can contact Jacqueline Heiliger, District 720 Disaster Chair at 340-277-3201. Meanwhile, a growing emergency in Haiti as they struggle in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. The country's interim president is calling it an apocalyptic situation. Hundreds of thousands of people are still waiting for aid. Meanwhile, Governor Mike Pence, who's the vice presidential nominee, stated that they found out that while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, her senior staff in the State Department actually directed the contacts for the rebuilding effort in Haiti to go specifically to a chosen few. Here's more.
That Hillary Clinton and her senior staff at the State Department actually directed that contracts for the rebuilding effort in Haiti would go specifically to those that were flagged as friends of the Clintons, and others were sent simply to the website. I mean, men and women, that is pay-to-play politics on a global scale, and it's exactly the kind of politics that's going to come to a crashing end the day that Donald Trump becomes president.
Meanwhile, there are just 22 days until voters head to the ballot box, but with Donald Trump's plummeting poll numbers, he's trying a new tactic, arguing the election is rigged in favor of Hillary Clinton. Clinton, however, is also facing challenges as newly released emails from both the FBI and WikiLeaks could further damage her campaign. Diane Gallagher breaks down the latest from the campaign trail.
The election is being rigged.
Donald Trump ramping up his claims that the 2016 election is a scam.
Rigged.
It appears, at least to the GOP nominee, the only explanation for any dip in his poll numbers is a conspiracy to rig the results. So despite not providing any evidence, Trump continues to float the theory.
It's rigged like you've never seen before.
In tweets, chastising fellow Republicans for not taking his claims seriously, which has some Republicans pushing back.
That the system is not rigged.
And even his running mate, Mike Pence, is trying to temper the stolen election rants.
We will absolutely accept the results of the election.
Meanwhile,
WikiLeaks.
Emails are once again causing concern for Hillary Clinton's campaign. The FBI dropping new documents Monday from its investigation into her State Department private server, and WikiLeaks releasing thousands more of what it says are campaign chairman John Podesta's emails, including more transcripts from Clinton's paid speeches to Goldman Sachs. Now, the Clinton campaign has not confirmed or denied the authenticity of the messages, and instead is focusing on blaming the Russian government for the hack.
There does need to be a consequence when a foreign nation tries to destabilize an American election.
Still, new polls have Trump keeping it close in battleground states, but CNN's poll of polls shows Clinton with an 8-point lead nationally going into Wednesday's debate. In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. Taking a look at the numbers there, we can see everything down. The Dow 51, NASDAQ down 14, S&P 500 also down. Coming up on News 2, October kicked off the Farm to School month, and the Virgin Islands Department of Education has partnered up with the VI Department of Agriculture to host a series of events to educate our students and the community on the health and economic benefits of locally grown produce. Coming up next. Welcome back. Just a reminder to all of our registered voters, the early voting period in the territory begins this Saturday, October 22nd. Make sure you bring your voter registration card to the early voting sites. On St. Croix, that's the Election System Office in the Sunny Isle Annex. On St. John, it's at the Marketplace, Suite 2. And on St. Thomas, it's the Election System Office in Lockhart Garden above Banco Popular. Early voting ends Monday, October 31st. Well, October kicked off National Farm to School Month, and the Virgin Islands Department of Education, in partnership with the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture, they are hosting a series of events and activities to educate our students and the community on the health and economic benefits of introducing locally grown produce to our schools. Here's more. The 2016 National Farm to School Month theme is One Small Step, and it highlights the simple ways anyone can get involved and take action to promote farming in our schools and patronizing local farms.
It's part of an initiative, part of the vision of the Governor Kenneth Mapp administration and mine personally, that we want to begin bringing into the school system more locally grown fruits, vegetables, meats, breads, and a number of other things.
The special interagency partnership sees St. Croix farmers providing public schools in both the St. Croix and St. Thomas St. John school districts with farm fresh watermelons.
This is not the end, but this is the beginning. Part of the vision is at some point in time in the future, more of the items that are on your plate are going to be grown right here in the Virgin Islands. So today we're just starting off with the watermelon.
Each week in October, students enrolled in the school lunch program are enjoying the watermelons as part of a special offering during the lunch period called Melon Mania.
Farm to School is not just the watermelon, but it's also going to expand to having school gardens and having taste testing and a number of different areas that Ms. Summer Sibley Brown from the Department of Education will talk to you about.
This journey started about 5 years ago, and with the administration and the Honorable Governor Kenneth Mapp's vision, it has come to fruition where you have local produce, sourced here, grown here, and we want to continue to offer you this type of product.
Now, that was an event that was held at the Adelita Cancrine Junior High School, and the Farm to School Month activities continued this evening at 8 p.m. A farmers meet and greet at UVI. There's also a taste of St. Croix at Belter, St. Croix, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, October 19th, Arthur Richards Junior High School's poultry farm to sell eggs at the Lorraine Farmers Market, 9:30 to 1 p.m. Thursday, October 27th, the second annual Food Learn event opens Dine VI at Estate Wim Museum, 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. University of the Virgin Islands Cooperative Extension Service, they hosted their annual World Food Day Hunger Banquet at Albert Sheen's campus grounds on the Great Hall in St. Croix. Now, that was on during the week. Students from 4th through 9th grade, they learned about the challenges of poverty and world hunger firsthand. Events continued from noon to 6 on Sunday with a vendor's court and 4-H Youth Super Chef competition. This year's theme was Climate is Changing, Food and Agriculture Must Too. And we'll have the highlights from that. World Food Day is designed to educate the community on poverty and world hunger. Virgin Islands Department of Education, St. Thomas St. John District Office of the Insular Superintendent, they are notifying parents of the early dismissals planned of all public schools on Thursday, October 20th. Dismissals will take place 3 hours before normal release times, and they say they are necessary to accommodate monthly job-embedded professional development for teachers. Lunch will be served and buses will be dispatched to the schools. Additionally, they want to remind you that there's no school for students in the St. Thomas St. John District on Friday, October 21st, as the AFT Teach Professional Development Conference for educators will be held on that day. School will resume at normal times on Monday, October 24th. Now, here are the release times for Thursday. Cancrine School at 12, CAHS 12:10, BCB 11:25, Eudora-Ken 11:50, Sproul 12, EWAA 12:10, Abraham and 11:40, Muller School 11:40, Dober 11:45, Janie Twitt 11:35, Joseph Sibley at 11:30, Lockhart Elementary 11:45, EBO at 11:45, the Gomez School at 11:40, and Bowski at 11:40. The Women's Empowerment Conference was held on Saturday at the Marriott's. A grand lineup of talented women they presented and attended, such as Allison Hines, and there we have motivational speaker, community activist Ifat Walker. She shared some words of wisdom and her personal story and challenges as she became a successful businesswoman. The women all shared their personal experiences with each other, and they learned better ways of communication and team bonding in friendship, relationships, and even the workplace. There were prizes, giveaways, and music by visiting reggae artists. There was even an opportunity for the women to pose questions to a panel of men. Mother's Choice Inc. has been around since 2004. They have done outreach, ministries, back-to-school giveaways, summer camps, and more.
Well, it's actually turned out great. We have about almost 30 women here. Each came for a different reason. Each came to be uplifted. Some came to be inspired. Some came to testify. And others came to find their purpose. The conference, like I said, is about strength in numbers, bringing women together back to the forefront and the core values of life. And so I was honored to meet some wonderful women today. They all voiced some very, very interesting and needed concerns, and I'm just hoping that we did them justice today and that they learned so much from each other.
I was invited by Nicole, and it was a good, when she brought it to me, it was a very important and necessary thing that I should do, and I think I should do it. It's a great vibe, and so I just become a part of the movement, you know what I mean? Because empowerment of women and things like that, it's a good thing. So it was great for me, you know.
In proclamation declaring October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Governor Kenneth Mapp urged victims and their families to seek assistance and for the community to work together to eliminate domestic violence. It has been responsible for the death of over 260 Virgin Islanders in recent years. Now, on Friday, everyone headed to Love City for Save the Coconuts Breast Cancer Awareness Block Party, and that event raised funds for St. John Cancer Society. On Saturday, there was the clothesline display at Tutu Park Mall with the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Council, DVSAC. They were doing some community outreach. Now, these are real clothes from victims with messages written by them. On St. Thomas on Sunday, there was a 2-mile run that was held, started and finished at Adelita Cancrine Cricket Field. Awards went out to the top finisher, youth, junior, and senior age group. Now, coming up, there's the DV Awareness March and Candlelight Vigil. That's coming up on Thursday, October 20th at Emancipation Garden. Now, on Friday, October 28th, there is a champagne and shopping event at Yacht Haven Grand at 5 p.m. Enjoy a glass of champagne while thrift store shopping for amazing items from the CC's Closet Store. Designer clothes, designer shoes, kitchen appliances, and much more. Proceeds from this event will benefit the Family Resource Center. The Coral Bay Community Council would like to invite all youths ages 12 to 18 to be part of its second youth event entitled Youth in Action on St. John Part 2. These activities will take place on October 21st and November 1st. These are both public school holidays at the Guy Benjamin Community Center in Coral Bay. Participation is free. You only need to apply. Too much trash, what do we do? That will be the theme of the events right there. Participants will learn about solid waste management, which includes waste reduction and recycling. These activities will help students to fulfill required community service hours that they need to graduate from high school. Transportation, lunch, and snacks will be provided. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Well, we have an upper level system to our north, and that is going to be pulling, there's some southerly winds, plenty of moisture, and as a result, we're going to see some showers around. So there could be a shower around for tonight or two. Temperature of 79 degrees for your overnight low. And then in St. John tomorrow, some thunderstorms, especially as we get some of that daytime heating kicking in. A temperature of 88 degrees in St. John. In St. Thomas, 88 degrees as well. We will be seeing some of those thunderstorms firing up as we go into the afternoon especially, and then St. Croix will be at 85 degrees with some thunderstorms. Taking a look at your marine forecast on the Atlantic side, we have a small craft advisory in effect. Waves are 4 to 7 feet with winds out of the south at 5 to 10 knots. On the Caribbean side, waves are at 3 to 5 feet and winds are out of the south at 5 to 10 knots. Now, taking a look at our current satellite, you can see the satellite imagery here with all the clouds and the moisture with this upper level disturbance. Now, as we go into our extended forecast, we have some thunderstorms around for your Tuesday and Wednesday. Like I said, abundant moisture, and so we will be dealing with those thunderstorms. Then by the time we get to Thursday, just a shower or two passing through with a temperature of 90 degrees. 90 degrees with a shower or two around on Friday as well. On Saturday, even less activity. We will have clouds and sunshine with just a passing shower. Sandy?
Thanks for that. Time for our News 2 weather picture there by Joey Swanson Jr. of Ricardo Richards Elementary School. Looking forward to some smooth sailing and flying some kites there over our typical VI weather. Joey, thank you for that. Send us your News 2 weather picture to News 2 to the address right there on the screen, Innovative Business Center. Be sure to include your name, age, school, brief description of your work of art. Tune in to see it right here on News 2. And that is all for this edition. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Guman saying be sure to tune in next time.